Greetings everybody, we are here in game number 2 of an interesting 5-game series. We're watching Lalush, the Zerg player on the left, who's actually now in red. He changed up his color, against BratOK, who changed up his color as well. We're going to see these guys playing on GSL Terminus SE. It's not GSL Terminus RE. SE has a very big difference between the original map, RE, with these destructible rocks at the third base, with these line of sight blockers there as well. And you'll notice that there are only 5 mil patches and 1 Vespene Geyser at this third base, and this is not an invincible base in terms of ground attacking, because before, with this not being there, in order to get there via ground, you actually had to attack in through the natural and then move up the ramp down there and start attacking this base via the natural expansion, which is basically means that this base didn't even have any defenses, just like a spore crawler or 2 if you're Zerg, or a cannon or 2 if you're Protoss, in order to actually defend from drops or the like. Excuse me. So now BratOK is here, going to be able to be it has a very distinct possibility on this map that we've seen Liquid General employ on a couple occasions, in which case he is actually going to be able to, if he wants to, get 3 bases very quickly, turtle, and get a very powerful mech army. General did just destroy Idra in that best of 7 game series that they did play a while ago. I think it was called Clash of the Titans, whereas the first time that I really saw that build being employed on a very map specific way. So Lalush could also have an equally advantageous position in the fact that he can expand on a very large-scale macro map. I'm definitely expecting a hatchery first from him, as he does have that drone in place, and there it is. We are seeing the hatchery being thrown down on this very interesting, actually, just mineral and gas placement from these guys, as these are actually farther away than you might actually think. With these 2 very close mineral patches, it's less mining than you might think happening at this base. So that's kind of just a fun note that I just made right off the bat. And now we're seeing that BratOK is actually 2-raxing, interesting, on this very large-scale macro map, doing a cheesy opener like 2-rax, where if it assuming he tries to actually put on pressure with this, could be incredibly unexpected and very deadly to Lalush. But Lalush's spawning pool has now actually been in play. So this actually allowed him to be able to defend accordingly. Now, Lalush's expansion is getting too close to completion. If he tries to go for a mutilating Bailey on this map, that could actually be a great move, as it's a very mobile and harassment-oriented army. You can do a lot of counterattacks, especially if BratOK does go for that mech style, which is very immobile and can get taken out in very circumventional ways, very guerrilla tactic ways, in the fact that you can run around, do Zerg run-bys, get mutas to attack the mineral lines, and just basically be as annoying as you can as a Zerg, as that's a very, very solid style of play. Would not be surprised if Lalush decides to employ that once more. But now we're seeing the 2-racks getting up there. It looks like Lalush is actually aware of the fact that this can happen. Might want to throw down a spine crawler or 2 to make sure that he can defend against this, but there are 3 SCVs at the very forefront right now. We're going to see all these drones that could be used for transformation be used to thwart this attack. We are seeing 2 Marines going to move in, and we're seeing the first bunker being put down, but the spine crawler is rather late. Another bunker is actually being made as well, but we're seeing the Lings and drones are now going to allow for a lot of damage to be done. BratOK, oh god, looks like Lalush actually targeting the bunker, not the SCVs themselves. That's definitely, both are viable options, but one is better than the other one, and we're seeing that BratOK is actually going to probably lose all of these Marines to the drones and the combined drone and Ling attack, as they're being able to outrun these Marines. More Marines are going to run in. We're going to see some fancy micro from BratOK and pulling back the hurt Marine, but actually going to allow his other Marine to get hurt as well. So Lalush is definitely being smart with the control of these Lings, and he's going to go ahead and cancel the spine crawler. He feels like he has this defended, which he does very easily, and so it's going to allow BratOK to actually do no damage at all. So Lalush is defending this amazingly well, so I can't really fault anything that he did. Attacking the bunkers forced him to actually be canceled, as opposed to stop being built by killing off the SUVs. That is definitely a preference from Lalush that really paid off for him. As we continue being able to mine, we'll see what the damage was done. Yep, 17 drones, 15 SUVs. So it looks like BratOK invested just a little bit too much. Now we're seeing this very large Ling force going to go ahead and actually sandwich one of those Marines, and they actually be able to do a lot of damage. But BratOK is microing his units very effectively. Might lose these 2 guys, but loses one of them, loses another Marine though, so he's taking a lot of damage. Lalush is actually very much ahead in the food count, 30-21, and 6 minutes into the game is huge. BratOK is getting up his natural expansion though, which is definitely going to help him out, but Lalush right now had 9 drones in production, so he's going to be able to get a ton of economy out. 25 drones are now out to 17 SCVs, and that drone count is only going to increase as we see more and more and more in production. And I definitely like the fact that he's spreading creep earlier on than the last game. That's definitely going to help him out, especially on this very large map. You want to be able to be aware of any movements coming out of your opponent, and creep is definitely the way to establish that kind of control. So this extraction is now finally going to be taken out, so BratOK, if he wants, he can go ahead and get that refinery. Yes, he does. I'm curious to see whether or not if Lush actually saw that refinery go down. It looks like he did not. He lost his vision before seeing the refinery go down. So now there it is, a fast third from BratOK. This is a very map-specific thing you can do on this map, but he's got to be wary of this destructible debris that is new. He's going to need to plop down a supply depot or something, make sure he has vision to see if this is getting taken down, as Zerg can do a lot of run-bys, etc., hitting that base as hard as he possibly can. So now BratOK is going to go ahead and continue to do as much pressure as he can. He wants as my screen goes really dark for a second. I'm going to bring up that brightness slightly, but now moving back here, there is an Overlord in great position to actually see if they're going to be able to move in and see what BratOK is going to try and do. If BratOK builds his production facilities in this middle area, it's going to be very hard for an Overlord sandwich to actually be able to see it. There actually is no sandwiching Overlord on the minimap that I can see, as yep, it's indicative of Lalush's vision. So Lalush right now is functioning only on 3 gases. He does have the first 2 in his main. Actually, only 1 is made. Actually, mine. The other one's being produced right now. Bailey Nest is on the way as well. So Lalush is definitely going to be in a very good position. He's going for that mutilating Baneling that I was very happy to see him do last game, but just not executed effectively as he would like. But BratOK now with the very fast 3 bases, much faster than Lalush. Lalush needs to get this 3rd base up fairly soon, which is going to be a normal thing to do, but he's going to have to get that soon, or else he's going to actually be out macroed by BratOK's Terran with that very fast 3rd base. We're seeing a lot of Lings out here in the front, going to be able to poke around, make sure that BratOK doesn't move out, do anything strange, but this is a very nice wall off from him as natural expansion. But we're seeing a lot of units coming out of Lalush. He could be going for some kind of very high economy Baneling bust, which, oh god, with 16 Banelings, he could actually take down these barracks and factory down there. The barracks will definitely be the better choice, as they have the smaller amount of hit points that they have, but where the bands, more Banelings are actually being morphed. This could be so deadly. We're seeing here how many of these Banelings are out. We have 19, or see 17, 19. There's 19, and then they're going to run in and they kill off the barracks. And now there's a hole in the wall, and the BratOK's being forced to pull down his SCVs. Looks like Lalush is actually saving those Banelings. If he gets a good hit on any of those SCVs or Marines, that will be a very large group of death happening. And now you could actually bust this once again. There we see the Banelings killing off both of those barracks. That's a huge investment for BratOK, just not paying off. But now siege mode is out for the tanks. This is going to be the end of this Baneling bust from Lalush. So BratOK actually defended that really well, losing the production from the facilities for a little bit, but not a big deal at all. Those tanks are saving him. Lalush, looking back here, let's see, he might actually start working on taking out this destructible debris. He is aware of that existence, but he does not know about this command center that is down there and that has been down there for a while. But again, looks like he's going to focus a lot on this bust. He's looking back at his main base. We do see him morphing down his lair. This is really going to help him hit this hard, but centrifugal hooks are knocking down for a fair bit of time, but more Banelings are being morphed. This is strictly Ling Baneling. Then we see the attack in the front, trying to actually absorb hits with no target fire by BratOK on the Banelings. Perfect in order to defend this. If he had actually let his tanks attack, they probably would have hit the Lings and not the Banelings, and that would have been great for Lalush. It's what Lalush wants. It's why he put the Lings out in front first, trying to have them take the hits from the tanks and destroy this front, but that is not going to be the case. We're seeing some more attacking, but with BratOK having 3 tanks out, this is going to be very, very hard for Lalush to actually hit. He might be able to sneak in a Ling in the front just to tank the first round of hits and then bring the Banelings with that. It's going to be less and less likely the more and more tanks get on the field, and BratOK is now at the 4 tank count. He's even bringing out this tank as far forward as he can and try and bait a few of these Lings and everything to run in and take them out with the tank, which he actually does. 2 kills on that tank. Looking back at his Lings, the Marines actually do not have Stimpack. We are seeing the 3rd being thrown down by Lalush right now. but Lalush has this layer out. Is he getting centrifugal hooks? Where is that baneling nest? There it is. No centrifugal hooks have been researched quite yet. We are seeing the infestation pit on the way that we could be seeing Ling, Baneling, Infestor, which is a great composition, assuming you can land the fungal growths and the neural parasites on the mech units and the fungal growths on the Marines. With fungal growth and banelings and a stim, that is one-shot death for a Marine, especially if they don't have combat shields quite yet, actually. That could be huge. This, without the combat shield, one stim and one baneling hit will automatically kill the Marines unless they have medevac support to finish off the health difference between the stim and a normal Marine. So that Marine's actually going to go down. It doesn't manage to take down a single Ling, but a Ling for a Marine is a trait that Zerg will take any day. BratOK is continuing to moving out. There are a few of these Marines that are going to go ahead and kill off that Ling. But where is going to be the follow from Lalush? Lalush needs to actually start getting as much damage as he can out. Trying to pick off a few Marines that he can, but he needs to run away with those Lings, but nope, they get killed off by those siege tanks. Look at the food count. BratOK is ahead, 92 to 85. He's really controlling Lalush. Lalush went for that high county bailing bust that just did not pay off. All these Lings are still out in the front. They don't have any upgrades, though. We'll be seeing any Evo chambers out for Lalush right now. He's just working on getting the pathogen glands. There are double Evo chambers for the Lings and Bands to be able to get carapace and melee attack as well at the exact same time. But now BratOK, with his 0-0, is actually about to have the +1/+1 for his infantry over there. And again, pushing with the missile turrets. He's also getting up his 4th base, so he is at a very strong county right now. He actually is at 59 SCVs to the 60 drones, and apparently there's a ping happening down here to nothing, which is rather unfortunate. That ping went nothing. We'll see actually who's actually in this game right now. The Muslim and Sen is in it. Apparently someone with ESC is in it. Rotterdam, I think I pronounced that name, and Aureus. I do not know very many of these guys, but that's still cool to see that the Muslim is in it. Now BratOK's command center is approaching completion, and this is definitely going to be very, very, very solid. BratOK is continuing to pressure the front, but look at this. Hatchery for base number 4 is being made for Mr. Lalush, but will he actually be able to utilize it or not? It may remain to be seen because all these siege tanks are slowly pushing up. Alright, so now these guys are continuing to pressure the front. We are seeing that BratOK is getting close to mined out in his main base, but look at the amount of supply depots back here. If there is a drop from Lalush and he kills off these supply depots, that will actually be a huge, huge loss for BratOK, so he has to remake every single one of them to try and be able to get some more units. We are seeing the command centers being close to completion, and once it gets into the planetary fortress, this will be a very defendable position for BratOK. He can fall back to it if the Lings and Banelings do too much damage to his army. But with a few Baneling hits on the planetary fortress, it can get busted down very, very quickly. All these Lings are continuing to try and run around. They do now have the +1/+1. Let's get back to the Evo chambers. They are getting +2/+2 as we speak. And Infestors now out. They do have enough for a fair bit of fungal growthing, actually. They get a couple fungal growths in succession on these Marines that will spell the death of those Marines. Lings are running around and actually be able to snake off and kill that single Marine, but where are the units from BratOK? They're all back here, waiting to put the pressure. But look at the siege tanks are still back. If he just brings these 4 siege tanks and just starts inching them up in a leapfrog fashion, he could be sieging this hatchery right now. Instead, it looks like he's going to play it safe and continue to warp and bring in reinforcements. I just called them warping in. Apparently, it's a Protoss now. No, but we are seeing all of these siege tanks are now going to start moving up and going to start sieging and attacking Lalush's base. Lalush does have a fair bit of Lings out in the field. He's producing more. He's actually preparing to do a drop with all of these Lings. He hits the main of BratOK that could force BratOK back, but BratOK is now getting this base here as well. Now we're getting pinged back over here. Yep, there is the drop coming from Lalush. All these siege tanks are continuing to pressure this base, which is great. This is a very entrenched position. Lalush cannot engage it head on, or he will lose his entire army. And a great little maneuver with these. If I'm just going to run in, start taking out the drones that are mining this base, and allow you to be able to take out this base much, much, much more quickly. This actually allow Lalush to see this base in production, but Lalush is really being pressured right now. This is going to be a really bad spot for him. This Cocoon is really getting a hammer. This Overlord is going to go ahead and die before he can even hatch. Sadly for that Overlord, but now Lalush is being forced into this choke. He has no way to get us around. He is now going to be funneled in completely. Queen is going to go ahead and die. Mostly we actually see Infestor loaded into this Overlord, but the Overlord needs to actually escape Otherwise, that infestor's going to die before being able to do anything. There was a form of growth or two on these Marines. But we're going to run in. Splash damage is going to start hitting the units of Braddock at the same time as Lalush's Lings. But Braddock is continuing this very deadly slow push. He's ahead in the food count, 143 to 129. Lalush is really looking to be in a very tough spot. We do have all these links down here. There we are seeing that was a big drop down there. And there's going to be all of these supply depots going to get hit. And it's going to be bad, but Braddock's going to actually handle this very easily. With just the reinforcements and the stem on these battalions, going to clean up this attack very quickly. It looks like he did not really suffer any losses whatsoever that really mattered. And now Lalush just sacrifices a few overlords. Not able to do any sort of bending bombs, but good funnel growth on all of those tanks before they siege up. Great time from Lalush, but I don't think it's actually going to be enough, as Lalush is in a really bad spot. This is really looking grim for him, and we are seeing that Braddock is even not getting the planetary fortress at that base as well. He's got a full count of 31 SCVs, though that's kind of nothing. Looks like the SCVs were falling a lot to the drop back there, but this is a huge investment for both these players. Yep, 35 workers were killed for Lalush with those double drops. Definitely effective, but the problem is that Braddock has such a large standing force right now, 177 food, plus the mules and the other bases. Lalush might go ahead and have to GG fairly soon, as he is just continually being forced back. He's getting a lot of these bandits. Could go ahead and go for abandoned bombs with his overlords. Might be his only chance left. The problem is all these Marines out there. This is going to be a very tough spot to actually try and land the bandit hits, but the Marines are being occupied during this time. We could be seeing the drop. There it is. That drop is happening. It's going to actually kill off a couple of those tanks, but that might not be enough. That overlord does now fall, and these siege tanks are in a great position. This is a very bad choke for Lalush to actually deal with all the units that they pop out of his hatchery are actually being taken out and being aggroed in by these tanks. This is really bad. Chambers go down. We have the +2/+2 finished. They do have the +2/+2, but it just might not be enough. Braddock again with the great attack upgrades on the tanks, +2 over there. Marines are at +2 attacking, so this is definitely great for him. He really emphasizes the attacking upgrades, not the defensive upgrades. Looks like he just wants to be aggressive. And it's really paying off for him, as these guys are continuing to just destroying everything from Lalush. We are seeing ultras being popped out now. When did he get ultras? This actually could be enough to pop in, but these ultras need to actually continue attacking. More of them are going to be coming in. Looks like they're actually decimate the siege tank line, but Braddock still has a lot of tanks on the field, and more of them in a great position to continue attacking the ultras, even as they run around. The ultras are really doing a ton of damage, but the problem is that they are suffering a lot. So now all of a sudden, Braddock is losing his tank line, but the damage on the ultras is huge. This ultra almost goes down. Will he actually try and attack the planetary fortress? That could be really, really bad. These ultras could actually end up falling prey to that. But this ultra is 17 health, a one shot from basically anything that will go down. Looks like Braddock might lose this planetary fortress in left because of all these banelings and ultras that are moving in. But looks like Lalush doesn't want to engage in that position because there's a huge amount of Marines to run around. They can actually deal with ultras incredibly easily, just spread as if banelings are coming after them, and the ultras will not be able to get the splash damage that makes them truly effective. But you're already going to see that 17 health ultra go down. More ultras are going to happen, and a good spread. All these Marines are just going to go ahead and start decimating ultras. They aren't even able to attack right now, and so Lalush is definitely losing a lot of his forces, pulling back to the planetary fortress, and Braddock is just stimming and forcing the GG out of Lalush. There's a GG, and that's going to be game. So Braddock's actually going to go up 2-0 against Lalush in a great game. So well played by Braddock, and he is going to go up 2-0 in this best of 5, and very well played by both players. So that is going to be a very, very interesting game to watch. I just am happy to see that. I want to see game number 3 now.